Hey everybody, today I'm going to be doing a tier list ranking of all of the Spider-Man movies, including the Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland, and the Sony Spider-Man movies as well. So let's get right into the tier list, starting at the very beginning with Spider-Man. This is going in A tier for me. It's a great movie, perfect origin. Green Goblin is awesome in this movie, but the story-wise, I don't think it's S tier because there are definitely some Spider-Man movies that are just masterpiece, and I don't think I'm going to put this one in there, but it did start the Spider-Man franchise, and everybody loves this movie. It's great. Nothing bad to say about this. Then we get Spider-Man 2, which I'm going to put in A tier as well. I know some people want this in S tier, but because of Doc Ock, but I do think Doc Ock is a great villain, but for the same reason, I'm not putting it in S tier. But this is a great movie, probably my favorite of the original, maybe. This movie just one of the first Spider-Man movies. Spider-Man is the first Marvel movie I ever watched, and then this one after it kind of took a step up. And I love how MJ finds out Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and then the train scene when he's stopping the train, that's great. One of the best Spider-Man scenes. Then, after that, is Spider-Man 3, which some of you are going to be mad at me for this, but I'm putting it in S tier. I know all of you are going to be mad, probably. I love this movie. I think that, I know it has Bully Maguire, the memes are great, but I think Sandman is a perfect villain. Venom was awesome. The symbiote Spider-Man suit looked so great. I loved Harry as Green Goblin, and I think that the relationship between Harry and Peter Parker just took a whole new turn, and how he was being overcome by the Venom, but it was a movie about forgiveness, and I love this movie so much. And then Harry's death at the end really hit hard, but I'm always going to love this movie. I think it was great. Nothing bad to say about this either. And then after that, we get The Amazing Spider-Man, another Spider-Man origin story. And I know some people love Andrew Garfield, but I just don't like Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I mean, nothing bad to say about him, but I just don't think his movies were that great. So I'm also putting The Amazing Spider-Man 2 in D tier, a little bit worse with all the villains. It did have some really good Spider-Man suits, though, and the web swing was great. I really liked Lizard as a villain, but I think in this movie the stakes were just not as high, and I'll just never really appreciate these Andrew Garfield version of Spider-Man. It's just not my favorite. Then after that, we get into the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, which are all great. I'm putting Homecoming in A tier. I'll put it above Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man because I think Vulture is the best part of this movie. He's such an awesome villain in this. The performance is just great by the actor. I don't know his name right now, and then Iron Man was in it, and Peter Parker was Iron Man was his mentor, and at the end when they took away the suit and he had to prove that he was Spider-Man without the high-tech suit, this is just a perfect movie. I love this movie. I've seen it so many times. It's great. After that, Spider-Man Far From Home, S tier. I know you're probably thinking I'm just doing this to be different, putting all the bad Spider-Man movies in S tier, but I love this movie. I think it's so great. I love the Spider-Man suits. I think the elementals look so cool. Mysterio's illusion scenes were awesome. I've seen this movie so many times. I'll put it above Spider-Man 3, actually. I mean, I love Peter's relationship with MJ. I think that was done really well. And everything about this movie is just perfect. I love Spider-Man in Italy. Mysterio is the best Spider-Man villain. Hot take. He's my favorite. I think he's so cool in this movie. Jake Gyllenhaal just had a great time doing this insane villain. And then the post-credit scene when he revealed Spider-Man's identity, that gave me chills. That was perfect scene. So I love this movie. And then Spider-Man No Way Home, obviously S tier, top of S tier, because you can't really go wrong. Bringing in all the Spider-Man actors, all the Spider-Man villains, and then Peter's sacrifice at the end, it's just perfect. It made me cry when he did the handshake with Ned for the last time. The story was just so great. I will say that the beginning with Doctor Strange's spell and everything was a little bit boring for the first part of the movie, but it's easy to forgive that because the ending fight at the Statue of Liberty was just amazing. This is a real gift to Spider-Man fans. I think when we got introduced to Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, when they came into the movie, that was one of the best scenes we've got. And then also when we saw Doc Ock for the first time in Green Goblin, that was the best. It's the best Spider-Man movie. It's just the definitive Spider-Man movie. And then after that, we get Venom. I don't know exactly the release date order, but I'll go with Venom. S tier. Not the top of S tier, the bottom of S tier. I think Tom Hardy just does such a great job as Venom. This movie is just so fun. I do admit the beginning where he doesn't have the symbiote was just okay, but once you get the symbiote, this movie is just so cool. I know it doesn't actually have Spider-Man in it, and people hate on the Sony Spider-Man movies, but I love this movie. I mean, there's nothing bad to say about this. I think that Venom and Eddie Brock just have that on-screen chemistry. It just looks so great, and they just do so well as the roles. And then Let There Be Carnage is gonna go right above the original Venom. This one is just hilarious. It really shows Eddie and Venom's bromance through this movie, and then when he reunited with Venom, it's just such a silly movie, and it's really shocking how good this was, how much I actually enjoyed it. Then we'll go to the newest, the Spider-Verse films. Into the Spider-Verse, S tier. Before I started this tier list, I didn't realize how many movies are going in S tier, but this one, so many Spider-Man movies are great. This movie was a masterpiece. I love all the animation is stunning. I love Miles Morales' origin story as Spider-Man, and the comic book look to it was just perfect. The villain was awesome. All these new characters we were introduced to, and then Across the Spider-Verse took all of that and stepped it up a notch with the Spider Society, and then that part at the end is just incredible when we find out that because he had the spider from the wrong universe, he got sent back to the wrong universe, and now his friends are trying to find him, and they need to stop, and he needs to stop the canon event because his Uncle Ben, he knows Uncle Ben is gonna die. Sorry, not Uncle Ben, his dad is gonna die. And then Madame Web, B tier. I mean, C tier. I didn't think it was this terrible. I was expecting this to be a mess, but it had some pretty cool visuals. Madame Web can see into the future. I thought that was really great, but overall, you don't really care about these characters. And then the Spider Women, I was expecting to see them a bit more, but we didn't even see them because they were just in the vision she had for 5 seconds. But definitely pretty bad villain, but I understood the villain, which is pretty nice. I love when I actually understand what's going on, and the story was easy to follow, and I thought it wasn't terrible. So that's it. That's my whole tier list ranking, all the way from The Amazing Spider-Man 2 at the very bottom up to Across the Spider-Verse at the very top. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want more content like this, then make sure to like and subscribe.